Welcome to eurythmyonline.com, presenting webinar number 3, lesson 2, copper rods and soul exercises. And remember, this project is only possible through your donations. Thank you. Good morning, dear friends, unseen, unknown people from around the world. As you start streaming into this meeting and joining us, I'd like to greet you so warmly for another day of doing Eurythmy. So glad you came. And I wish I was with you to shake your hands, even to give you a hug. I wish that was once again, so to speak, allowable. But let's imagine the bustle and the happy activity as all of you come into our Eurythmy room, take off our shoes, put on our Eurythmy shoes, and greet one another happily. First thing I want to say is I remember that last week we had problems with the audio, and I have done the best with my co-host Michelle to be able to solve that. And let's watch that and see if that's going to work. Michelle will tell me, she'll give me a word halfway through the lesson if it's not working. And perhaps I'll just turn off the headset and have to talk a lot louder. So if you are here watching this webinar, you know that my name is Cynthia Hoven, and I have had a dream as long as I've been a eurythmist that everyone around the world should be able to do eurythmy. Not only should be able to, but they should understand that it fulfills the same needs as yoga and Tai Chi and all these other movement arts does, and in a way that is really born out of this deep spiritual understanding of what we are, human beings connected to heaven and earth, fully conscious in our age, and present in our bodies. And, as we've talked about before, really grounded in the heart. As you know, then, the Eastern movements generally, I don't want to oversimplify, but they work out of this hara, the digestive center. And in Eurythmy, as we've been working on through all of the classes that I've taught, really come out of the heart, which is awakening to a sense of being in the body from the heart, and then also from a metamorphosis of the larynx forces. But that's coming in the future webinars as we start to go deeper into what the vowels and consonants are. So as I said, I've had this longing that everyone around the world should have a chance to do Eurythmy, even if people aren't becoming eurythmists. This is for you. This is for your own development so that you can walk through life healthy, strong, vital, at peace, at rest, and with the capacity to deal with what's going on in our world today. Breathing, grounded, centered, present. And so behind everything that we're teaching, keep going home to your heart. Let's remember that what we're working with here is what I call Eurythmy as a personal practice. Eurythmy is born out of the artistic capacities. It also has our deep understanding of how to do therapeutic eurythmy, how to work with patients who've got a multitude of acute or chronic health difficulties. But eurythmy as a personal practice lives on the boundary between them. We're not out expressing great pieces of art and stage at all, even though that's tremendously enriching. And I'd love to do that with you in a public class. But what you're doing is learning how to move this life energy, this feeling energy, this I am energy through your whole body, through your whole self. And just another word here, remember. Your task here is to work with these exercises on screen only as long as you need to, until you have understood them with your body, with your mind, with your heart. And then practice doing the exercises, turning off the recording. Go back to it if you can, if you need to. But as soon as you can, work without the recording so that you're free from the digital medium and you're really paying attention to your own presence in your heart and your own presence in your body. So that's our intention. And now let's imagine that everyone's coming streaming into the room again. We're saying hello to everyone, and we'll step back. I'll step back, and we'll take a big stretch, freeing up our energy, making the muscles soft and fluid. Let's take a nice shoulder roll. I'm sure if you need a shoulder roll, you've already done that. It feels really good. Shake it out. Whatever works as your pre-Eurythmy practice. Are we ready? Giving thanks for everything that has brought us here, heaven and earth, mankind, yes, and even the forces of the computer which are in service to what we're doing. We stand. To help us to center, I'll speak for us the Eurythmy meditation, which says, I seek within me creative forces working, creative powers living. The heavy weight of earth tells me through the word of my feet. The forming power of the air tells me through the singing of my hands. And the strength of heaven's light tells me through the thinking of my head how the great world in the human being speaks, sings, thinks. Now I'd like to do it once more, and I want to make this already part of our Eurythmy experience. I want you to please notice, as you hear these words, how your mind travels to different places. And this attention traveling is part of what inspires our movements in Eurythmy. So as I say, I seek within me creative forces working, creative powers living. As I say that, your inner mind is doing contraction. Now your mind feels below as I say, the heavy weight of earth tells me through the word of my feet. And now your hand goes to the middle system. The forming power of the air tells me through the singing of my hands. Now your mind goes to the noble head. The strength of heaven's light tells me through the thinking of my head. Now in culmination, we feel how the great world, now we contract, in the human being. Now we feel the three realms speaks, sings, thinks. And having been through this process, we are whole. And now we'll continue on the first exercise that we're using in this series, the E-A-O exercise, engaging head, feet, arms. Building on what we did last week, first of all, we gently release. There's no need to bend at the waist, although sometimes we teach it like that, but just gently release. Now stand straight, feeling your head sensing the skies, your feet the earth, and your spine between. Learn to experience this as E, simplest E. And now we'll create the open angle of the Ah sound by stepping to the right and the left. Feel yourself open and powerful from here through your legs. Please don't engage your arms when you do this. This is going to give all of your energy to your legs. And now your arms have their chance to express with the O. Release the O. Release the Ah. Release the E. Now we'll do it again and I'll say the sounds. E. Ah. Oh. Release the O. Release the Ah. Release the E. Again, and don't speak with your mouth, just with your body. E. Ah. Oh. Away, away. Now let that begin breathing through you. 1. E. Ah. Oh. Away, away. Now learn to feel more quickly. Feel quickly your straightness. E. Your ground. Ah. Your love. Oh. Away, away. With full attention. E. Now jump if you can, or else just step. Ah. Oh. Away, away, away. E. Ah. Oh. Away, away, away. E. Ah. Oh. Away, away, away. E. Ah. Oh. Away. Now I will end in full regal slowness. E. Ah. Oh. Release. Release. And rest. For our next step, let's do the contraction expansion exercise. And those of you who've been with me on previous webinars have done a lot of that with me. If you haven't, you can find them in the previous recordings. But let's now open our arms wide, feeling how the arms extend from the heart like wings, like leaves of the plant of a tree, grow through your fingertips. Nonetheless, stay centered in your heart. I'm lifting my head now, don't go out of yourself like that. No, don't lift your head. Keep your head right here, but learn to feel into the bigness of space. Now take all of that space as if you're wrapping your wings around yourself, and let the outer world live in your heart. Now from your heart, give back the archetype of breath, the archetype of blood to your center, and returning to the world. And again, to your center, to the world. This time I'll speak a poem by the German poet Goethe, who writes about this breathing process, and he writes this: in breathing, grace may twofold be. We draw breath in and set it free. The in-breath binds, The out unwinds so wonderfully is life entwined. Then thank we God when we are pressed, and thank God when He grants us rest. Your arms fall to your side. How do you feel? Head straight, heart empowered. Your feet, well, the feet are ready to walk now. Remember what our intention is in mindful walking. And now a somewhat difficult task to get full awareness all the way down in the feet. Normally we say people aren't properly in their feet. They stumble along or do all the unconscious deeds of service as they walk us through the world. But now we're going to give them our loving attention and let them talk to the earth. Head is noble, crowned with light. Heart is centered, carrying your love. And the feet will walk. Once again, especially if you have forgotten or if you're new, in the size room that I have here, I'll take 4 steps forward and 4 back. I prefer to take 8, but I'll take 4 steps forward, and you remember the process of lift, carry, and place. If you haven't been with me before, I'll send you back to learn about that from the previous webinars. Here we go. Lift your foot, carry it, little step, and place. Whenever you lift, you overcome gravity, upright, balancing on one leg. The foot crosses a small bridge, and then you place toe first, and then heel. And now the other foot, lift, carry, and place. Inhale, and exhale. I've done my 4 steps in this space. I'll go backwards, lift, carry, place. And you feel right away something is altered that you have to see with the eyes in the back of your head. Where is that wall back there? Going into the darkness. Again, lift, freeing yourself from gravity, moving through life, connecting to the earth. Remember your feet. Serve your heart. Your heart is always moving forwards, and your feet make it possible. Okay, I'm ready to change directions. I'm going to move my heart backwards. With my heart, I can see the wall behind me. Lift, carry, place, lift, carry, place, lift, carry, and place. Now, I'm going to take my rod. I hope you have a rod. If you're new to this series and don't have a rod, be sure to let me know. I'll send you the PDF about it. But we've tried to be sure that everyone has a copper rod. If not that, then a wooden dowel can take its place. And now before I walk, I want to review with you how to move the rod in harmony with the feet. So if you imagine you're making a circular movement with the rod, just like you do with your feet when you walk, and 1/3 of it is lift, cresting over the top is carry, and placing takes you back to the bottom. Lift is rising energy, sustaining, and grounding. Lift, carry, and see if you can feel how that helps simulate harmonious breathing. Whenever you need to take an extra breath in Eurythmy, do. We're not practicing any kind of hatha breath. We're breathing naturally, but the movements really impel the correct breathing. I'm ready now to do this with my hands and feet. As I stand here, the rod is resting on my fingers. I'm not gripping it. And as I lift the rod, I also lift the heel of my foot. Thus, lift. And now together they make a small arc And I touch with the toe and the heel. Now with the other foot, I lift, first third of my rod movement, carry over the top and place. Lift, carry, and place. Lift, carry, and place. Now I'll change directions and I lift into light, carry, and place. Lift, carry, place. Lift, carry, place. Lift, carry, and place. I'll do just a little more of that. And our job is to feel our nobility as we walk. And again, I think you would be terrifically unengaged if we did this for an entire hour on screen. But please practice this at home, getting peaceful and quiet as you walk. Lift, light of the sun. Breathe with your movements. Radiance of the moon. Splendor of fire. Swiftness of wind. Backwards depth of the sea. Stability of the earth. Firmness of rocks I bear in me. Big breath. I'll put my rod to the side. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Standing tall. Now, we'll go on to the actual exercises that are the focus of this module. And we're going to pick up again the foot exercises that we worked on last week. And the first of the foot exercises, the yes, no, is a process of learning to think or to create judgments in a positive sense, create assessments, create understanding with the entire body, all the way down into the feet. So we're not just head thinkers, we're whole body thinkers. And it's an unusual concept to feel I can affirm something right down into my legs, or I can negate it right into my legs. But by doing that, we release these tight chests that we have and let our consciousness awareness go into the feet. To set this up last week, I said, let's imagine we're walking towards something that we want to say, like, that's a yellow house there, for instance. That's a simple judgment. I'm going to walk forwards, but I end on my right foot. Yes, I see it. And now I'm going to walk back and say, no, that's not blue. I'm going to end on my left foot. No. Now, we're not going to do this exercise with all these steps later, but right now, feel like we're entering in, headed towards the left side of the body, the more passive side of the body, as we agree with something. So, yes, you're right. Yes, I'll go with you. Now, with the strong part of your body, perhaps it takes more strength to say no. We're going to go back, ending up making a distance, drawing away. No, that's not right. Left side. Yes, I agree. No, that's not right. Once more. Yes, I agree. No, that's not right. All right. And now we'll reduce that, consolidate that into just a foot exercise. The end result of this foot exercise, that it deepens our breathing by virtue of getting us out of the head. So now just with the left foot, make an arc to the front and put your weight on both feet here, but also very much on the front foot. Yes, that's right. Again, yes. 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 You see, I kind of lift my leg up, not a lot, but I let it be an airy experience. My thoughts give wings to my foot. Yes. Once more. Yes. And now the opposite, no to the back. No. And again, no. And again, no. No. And feel yourself drawing back, making distance. No. The possibility of saying, I can't agree with what you're doing there. No. No. And I won't step into it. Again, no. Feet together. Now we're going to alternate them. Left foot first. Yes. Right foot. No. Yes. No. And ultimately, yes. Our movement will be able to go as fluidly as thought can. All day long, we're agreeing and not agreeing. Going, yes. No. As quick as thought. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Be sure you're breathing. No. Through the diaphragm. Yes. And no. Rest. Deep breath. If this is an exercise that you resonate with, for instance, if you really want to strengthen your capacity to think through the whole body and to breathe better, and yes, I think this is very good for our computer addicted or dependent present age, you can do this alternating movement 10 times in a row, and you can do 3 sets of 10. And if you do that for a series of 7 weeks daily, you'll really feel that you're engaged. It will have a very nice strengthening, hygienic effect on you. And now, as we worked on last week, the sympathy antipathy, an exercise that invites the arterial blood to open up into the metabolism, warming us through and through, and then changing that into the catabolic process, withdrawing and creating the feeling of antipathy. Let me speak that once again. With the sympathy, I make a concave curve to the front. And with the antipathy, I make a convex curve, my whole body moving back, but the emphasis is on the foot. And I'm touching the ground in both cases with the front part of the foot, not the flat foot. This should be done slowly as we dream our life, ourself into the metabolism. And we have sympathy and antipathy. As if you have warm water that makes it possible for all these arteries to relax, to open. And antipathy, cold water, bracing. You can touch for a moment in between if your left leg is getting tired. And then again, sympathy, antipathy. Touch for a moment. And again, warming yourself, loving your body. And antipathy, which we need just as much. Yes, we need to really embrace the metabolism and the sympathy. Sympathy. But it's also important to be able to wake up out of it and have this brisk, enlivening catabolic process. Again, sympathy. And its opposite, feel this concave curve, feel your back, antipathy. And we'll do this one more time. Sympathy and antipathy. And rest. Good. This exercise too can be done 10 times in a row in a series of 10 with 3 sequences would give you the proper therapeutic effect of it. Now, this is not particularly specific to an organ dysfunction like therapeutic eurythmy can be, but it's a general strengthening exercise, making the etheric body into a healthy organism so that your ego can get in and out of your body. And I mean that in the right way, that yourself can really use your body. All right, we're going to go on now. Well, remember this brisk and bright A exercise that we worked on for strengthening the midline. Spread your arms wide and cross them together. A. Do you remember all I said about that before? A establishes your ego center in the good sense of the word right here on the earth. I generally alternate right arms and left arms here. And A. Let me walk forwards a few steps just in case you'd like to see my arms better. A. 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 You feel yourself really strong and focused. I'm here and I make my boundaries. A. Release. New. A. Release. A. Once more. A. And release. Reflect. You feel the breathing. It's kind of nice little shocks inside. Now we do that with the feet as we did last week. Remember, you take the heel of your foot and tap it briskly, lightly, hammer it against the top of the shin bone, taking care not to harm the kneecap. The other foot, balance and strike. A, 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 and A. All right. Now we're going to combine that with the foot exercise, and we'll go A, 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 and rest. Well, I hope you can do this with me. Most of the teaching that I've done with you has been more slow and nurturing, but we do need to know how to wake up to. Also, this is one that we do with children a lot. I told you last week it's possible to do this with little ones if you 3rd grade and up. So we'll now take a step with each A. I'll step forwards. A, 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 and A. Now I told you I don't like to do this going backwards, so I'll make a little circle. A, 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 A. Rest. I love doing this, for instance, with children who are just out of themselves. They need boundaries. Also excellent for the dyslexic. If you're a person who has a hard time with right and left, or a hard time being focused, how good is this? Also, if you're spending a lot of time on the computer, like many of us are, it's good to get up and get your circulation going so briskly. Now, I told you last week that we would also try it this week in skipping, a little skip step. I described it in the PDF notes that you have. And I think it's quite likely that some of you won't be able to, won't choose to do the skipping step. Doesn't matter, you can still do the steps alone. But the skip goes like this. I step onto my right foot and I hop onto the right foot. So I go step, I go step, hop. And as I do that, I do the A with my foot on the hop. So I go step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step, hop. Get it? Try that in a circle. Step, hop, 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 hop. I wish I could see you. I wish I could see you and encourage you having fun with this. For most people, it's a little bit crazy making in the beginning. And now I'll add the arms for the extra dimension. Are you ready? Here we go. A, 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 and A. Awake, awake, and take your way. Be brave today. Hooray, hooray. And rest. If you did it, your heart's probably pounding a little bit more. And try to feel the briskness, the lightness, the presence of that. It's certainly different from doing the hallelujah, for instance, but it's very presencing. The A is a vowel given to us through the planet Mars. And so this helps us to understand why we want to work with it if we don't have enough vigorous Mars energy in ourselves. Okay? Now let's turn our attention once again to the rods. I certainly hope that you all have gotten a rod or at least a substitute for it. And you can write to us later on if you want the link, instructions for how to get the rod if you're a newcomer. And I'll also put that information in the PDF that I send out this afternoon. Once again, just in case there are newcomers here who need to find out how to do it. All right, we started with the little bird exercise just for fun, but it's an agility exercise. Little birds, my birds are dancing in the mountains. They come flying down to the valley and they dance. You see all of my fingers are dancing one after another on top of the tree branch and underneath it. I rotate on my thumb on top and below and on top and below. And then their friends come and dance on top of the rod, underneath the rod, and on top and underneath. And if you can't do this, you really should learn it. It's so interesting for me to see how the children can't do this before a certain age. Like the little ones, first, second grade, they have to puzzle so hard on how to move their fingers with so much agility. They're not into these fine motor skills yet. But this kind of movement helps to quicken the thinking. So through the body, we have an effect, a complementary effect on the head. Now the next movement that we had was to imagine the birds fly away. Now our attention turns to an imaginary tree. And paying attention to the uprightness of the rod, I have two squirrels that are going to jump up the rod, climb up. The important thing is having the uprightness. Let's see if you're able to stay upright as the squirrels climb up the rod. Try not to move the rod. Top of the rod stays right here as I go down. And to make it more fun, we create games. The squirrels are having a competition to see who gets to be the last one, the one who touches the top, or the one who gets to the bottom of the rod. When we do that, our attention's in the rod, but subconsciously, you're really having to maintain this line between heaven and earth. Play with it. And now the squirrels jump over to a horizontal tree branch. And first, one jumps over the other, and then that one jumps over that one. Right over left, left over right, right over left, left over right, right and left and right and left and right and left and right. Now the right one does something mischievous. This little squirrel, he goes underneath the rod. And the left one goes under. And the right one, and the left, and the right, and the left, and the right, and the left, and the right, and the left, and the left. And now we compound it right over top. Left, right below, left, right below, left below. Right on top, left, right below, left. On top, below, on top, below, on top, below. And then we did that with the feet as well. We go right foot in front, left foot in front, right foot in front, left foot in front, right and left and right and left and right and left. I hope you can see that that's really only possible if you're standing upright. You know, learning to be conscious way down there. Backwards, left and right and left and right and left and right and left and right. Can we do that with the hands and feet together? Right and left and right and left and right and left and right, left and right and left. Backwards, left and right and left and right and left and right and left and right and left and right. Now we go. Once again, these are the waking up, the presencing exercises. Now we're going to go to the first of the major rod exercises. We're going to do the sevenfold exercise, which we began last week. I won't preface it today as I did last week, being really strict about how to position your hands. I'm going to trust that you've worked on that. Friends, if you haven't, if you're new, and if you don't know this exercise, please go back, go to the place halfway through last week's exercise and learn from it how I laid this exercise. Right, are you ready? I have the rod here, holding it lightly between my fingertips, and I will go below, above, to the right. Remember, the right arm is extended, the palm is facing out, and it has to be a perfect angle here. Right, left, right, above, below, and back in the middle. Thank you. Please, I'm going to interrupt myself for a moment. I can hear that someone has put their speaker on. And Michelle, maybe you can see who that is and turn that person off. Thank you. I'm getting a little bit of noise in here from someone's mic. Okay, let's try again. Precision is essential here. Below, above, right. I'm going to interrupt myself and say if you're here or here or here, it's not good enough. Be right here in front of the right shoulder and right hip. Right, left, right, above, below, middle. Once again, I will remind you, this is the physical body rod exercise. Precision in space is important. Below, above, right, left, right, above, below, in the middle, down to the ground, up to the sky, to my strong side, to my soft side, to my strong side, above, below, in the middle. The earth is firm beneath my feet. The sun is bright above me. And here stand I, so straight and tall, all things to know and love. Got it? Now, as we did last week, we'll take one step for each position. Going to start with my right leg, and do a threefold step, timing my foot movement with my rod exercise precisely. Lift, carry, down. Lift, carry, up. Lift, carry, right. Lift, carry, left. Lift, carry, right. Lift, carry, up. Lift, carry, down. Back in the middle. And we can do this backwards. Lift, carry, down. Lift, carry, up. Lift, carry, right. Lift, carry, left. Lift, carry, right. Lift, carry, up. Lift, carry, down. And back in the middle. I won't repeat that version of it right now, but please work on that. It's such an ordering exercise. Now I'm going to take the next portion of this, the next variation. And I described it very carefully in the PDF that I sent out to you. And I'm going to use my little blackboard here to show you. We're going to step in different directions with each position of the rod. So as you put the rod down, you will step forward. As you lift the rod into the heights, you'll step backwards, feeling your back space. When you move the rod to your right side, you'll step to the right. When you move it to the left, you'll step to the left. Once again, you'll move to the right. The next movement is up. Next movement is down. And then in between, you'll slide back to your beginning place. So again, and go ahead and try it. I'll join you in a second, but I'd like you to try. Come forwards first. Forwards and down, backwards and up. To your right, to your left, to your right. So you're over there on your right side. Backwards as the rod goes up, forwards as the rod goes down, and then back to your beginning position. You ready for me to try it with you? Hope you got it. I love doing this, and once you can do that, you can begin varying the number of steps that you take. Make it much richer. I'll try it with you here. I go forwards and down, backwards and up. I go to my right side, left side feet together, right side. I go straight back here, and down, and back in the middle as I position my rod in the center. I'm going to turn around and do it with you. Follow me. I go down, I go away from the computer. I go up, going backwards. Now I'm going to go to my right, over here, to my left, to the right. Go backwards, forwards, back in the middle. Always with a threefold step. Lift, carry, down, up. Lift, carry, right, left, right, up, down, in the middle. Again, down, up, right, left, right, up, down, in the middle. Again, down, up, right, left, right, up, down, in the middle. And then, as I said, we can vary the number of steps. Some will do it with 3 steps in each direction. Let me just explain. I don't do 2 steps because it creates an awkwardness with the legs. I prefer to work with odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, and not to take just 2 steps in the different directions. You're welcome to experiment, however. 3 steps forward, 1, 2, 3, backwards, 1, 2, 3, to my right, 2, 3, left, 2, 3, right, 2, 3, backwards, 1, 2, 3, forwards, 1, 2, 3, back in the middle, and 1, 2, feeling grounded, feeling my back open to my strong side, to the heart side, to the will side, into the back space, front space, back in the middle. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Feel your left side. 1. You've noticed I cross my legs when I go sideways. 1, 3. And I cross my legs as I slide sideways. Good. I hope you'll be able to practice this at home. Marvelous exercise. Just lay your rod aside for a moment here. I said to you that this is the physical body exercise. Let me elaborate a little bit. Out of our 4 main exercises, there's one that strengthens our relationship to physical lawfulness. The second that we'll learn next has to do with the etheric breathing, pulsing life. The third, the astral, bears the imprint of contracting and expanding. And the fourth, the ego, deals with up and down, the waterfall that some of you might know. And so we're going to turn now to the 12-fold exercise, the one for the etheric body, to strengthen breathing. Another contribution to making a healthy rhythmic system, a healthy etheric body. So we're going to do a prelude to this exercise by feeling first grounded. Now lift your arms to the level of your lungs and let them sink again. And again, in prelude, feel rising energy and sinking energy. Now you notice I'm not going up on my toes at all. I'm not changing the height of my head, not even changing the height of my shoulders, but in my energy, I'm becoming lighter. I'm becoming more grounded. Can you do that? 1, 2, 3, and grounded. I'm going to do that on a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Are you experiencing that this exercise breathes you? All right. That's the first part of the exercise. And now that movement is reflected in behind you, in your back. And the gesture is a little more difficult to do with your arms, but we'll try it just a little bit. Lift your arms. I can't get them much. I can't even get them to my armpits, but I become lighter and heavier and lighter and heavier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now I'll get my rod without worrying about breathing, but you should feel the diaphragm is so happy with us. Now, let's work with just the rod in front of us. I'm going to lift it. 1, 2, 3, and lower it. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll put it in the back. Now to do this, you need to have the palm of your hands facing forwards. And we'll lift the rod. I'm still making it easy for you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, let me show you what we really need to do here. When the rod is up here, I don't want us to be holding onto it in the normal way. I want the rod to be sitting on my thumb like this, like this. You must look at this very carefully. So when I pop my rod up here, the rod sits on my thumbs. When I have the rod here, all of my fingers and my thumbs are in front of the rod. As I lift it, my fingers let go, and I just lift it with my thumbs. And then I'll drop it into my hands. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the second part is in back. Once again, this only works if you've got your hands facing forward. So let's try that again. When it's in front, your hands are faced like this. As I go back, I go around my right side. I go around both arms, extend out. I'm going to turn this hand forward, keeping the rod as flat as I can. This hand stays facing forward, and I grab the rod with the palm facing forward, and then I turn this one around. Try that again. Once you get it, you'll never have to worry. Again, it's quite easy once you find it. Turn that hand and turn that hand. Now both hands are facing forward. And for count number 7, you pop the rod up like that. Try that again. In the beginning, it's unusual. Pop it up. The rod is resting right there in the crook of my elbow, as high as I can comfortably get it. Again, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7, 8, 9. Now I just drop it into my hands. 10, 11, 12. Well, we've almost got it here. But there's one more thing. Perhaps you already noticed. How do we get it around? 1, 2, 3, 4. And now on 5, I take the rod behind me. 5, 6. Now I'm ready for 7. 7, 8, 9. Inhale in full lungs. 10. Exhale, release. 11 and 12. We've got it. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Release. 4, 5, 6. Feel your weight changing. 9, 10, 11, 12. Become more buoyant and more gravity. 5, 6. More buoyant. You are filled with light and life. Buoyant. 1, 2, 3. Heavy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Thank you. Now I'm sure that half of you, no, a quarter of you are still kind of scratching your heads on that. And I just want to assure you that if you come back and watch the video afterwards, but even more especially, if you read the PDF, you'll find that I very carefully explained it there. So I want to trust that you riddle it out. And when we come back to it next week, you will show me, or I will just trust it, that you've learned it well. We do that with stepping also. I'll take 3 steps forwards as I walk forwards, becoming filled with light. 1, 2, 3. Now I stand. 4, 5, glued to the ground. I walk backwards. 7, 8, 9, and I ground. 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't forget to feel front space. Don't forget to feel back space. 10, 11, and rest. Thank you. Okay, I'll put the rods away. And in our last moment, I'm going to do with you the Hope-Ā exercise, which many of you or some of you have done with me in the past. And in any case, there's a detailed explanation of how to do it in the PDF, but it's really good to learn by doing it with me and accompanying me. This is one of the 3 primary soul exercises. The yes, no, the sympathy, antipathy, the jumping exercise are in the same bundle as these soul exercises, but the 3 major ones, I love a Hope-Ā and Ā reverence. Today we'll do the Hope-Ā, which is a deeply grounding exercise. Before we begin, let's consider the virtue of hope. Hope for what? For the virus to be over. Hope for peace on our planet. Hope for the next stage in your life. Hope for health and healing. Hope for the next step in your life to become clear. And we allow ourselves to trust that if we open to the spiritual world, our hope will be rewarded. Help will come from another dimension into our life. And so we have to access the space behind us, the space where we cannot control things. What a question. Lean back slightly onto your heels. Make your arms into a cup as if they are a grail. Not knowing, you wait for the count of 2 or 3. Don't count, but just feel hope. And then feel that you can see star power, light, radiance, health, and healing come to answer your prayer and your quest, and you lead that down in this gesture. This is a powerful Ā gesture, all the way down through the front, through the interior of your body. Your feet should be glued together, even as the back of your hands are glued together. Feel your legs knee on knee. And you feel this as Ā. And release. We're going to do that 6 more times. I do it 7 times in a row, or 10 times is even better. And we reach backwards, full of question, hope, low, and then a second movement, up and down. Once you feel yourself within yourself, you release. Again, open. stay here long enough to really feel it. Don't hurry to the next movement. Maybe a count of 2 or 3. Rise, put the backs of your hands together and pour light like warm golden honey, warm golden healing energy right through your core. And by squeezing everything together, you impress it more deeply into your will. Release. Be sure you actually release. Don't hurry. Next one, hope. Hold it. And for another beat, relax. And another beat, begin again. Hope. Imagine what's coming towards you before you move. And now, stay together until you know that you feel yourself within yourself. And release. One more time. Hope. And release. Stand, feel how that has really balanced the way you stand in your body, as if you're rooted, as if you could stand here for a long time. You might remember I said in the last session, I said, this little boy said to me, what have you done to me? I can't move. You've enchanted me. And I feel that too. In a moment, I'll walk towards the computer and we'll begin to talk a little bit. But right now, I feel that that first step is going to be hard to take. I don't want to. I want to just stay right here. All right, friends, I'll fold my arms, closing my practice. I'll release. I will take that first step and I'll come closer to my computer. And we'll deal with some questions here for the next few minutes. I want to remind you that when you do these at home, you should hopefully do your exercises every day. A little bit every day is better than a lot once a week, if it's possible for you. Even if you can only do a couple, choose the best ones for yourself. And please remember that the PDF that I sent out for you has got lots of rich explanations. Also remember, at the end of a proper Eurythmy session, you should take a moment, approximately a third of the time that you were moving, to lie down or sit quietly and gather your forces, close your energy back into yourself before you become immersed in the things of your life. Okay, let's take some time for questions. Oh, before I forget, I do want to give a personal, warm, deep thanks to all of you who've been able to step forward and make some donations. Remember, this can only go forward as it is through your participation in the gift economy. So those of you who have been able to make free will donations weekly or just in one chunk, my heartfelt thanks. You make this possible. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Okay. Michelle, help me. What have we got?
Are you ready?
I am.
We're going to step back to the very beginning of our lesson, to the meditation. And Christine asked, how are we to use the meditation when we are doing our own practice?
Please use it, or I invite you to use it as a preparation. You may speak it out loud at home if you like, or you may just speak it inwardly. It can be, if you choose to work with it, it's a wonderful way to prepare yourself. I am going to enter into a relationship with the creative forces that are around me. I'm going to try to make myself aware that I live with the gifts of my feet, my heart, my head. It's like, yeah, preparing your space. It's also possible, if you want to use that as a meditation sometime when you do a sitting meditation, or you can practice speaking it. It's okay.
Lots of beautiful options. Christine also asked, when we were doing the sympathy and antipathy exercise,
yes.
She said, I lose my balance going backwards in antipathy, nearly fall over and end up on my heel.
So what I would recommend for that is that you do, in fact, allow yourself to stay in contact with the floor the whole way and discover how far back you can go. I could imagine for some people, until you learn to really feel your back, that you might tip over. But you don't have to be weightless there for a moment. Take your foot slowly and carefully there. And I'm sure you and everyone else noticed, to our surprise, that the sympathy antipathy actually puts some significant amount of stress for balancing on the left leg. So let's acknowledge that. And you have to learn how to engage the muscles of the left leg to be able to stand straight. If I asked you, how many of you also felt that? I'm sure half of you would raise your hand.
Yes. Now, Joanna asked, when we were doing the 12-fold rod exercises,
yeah,
she said the active switching or transition part always happens in the lower realm or physical.
Yes. 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 Perfect. Thank you for noticing that. I would have said it myself if I had remembered. So, and try, when you take the rod around, try to keep your energy down here like I'm doing now. In the beginning, as you take the rod around, I see a lot of people kind of sloppily lifting the arm up. But no, as you go around front to back or back to front, feel your will sphere. As if you've got a big, big church bell down here. Thighs, right? Thank you, Joanne.
Okay, then Christine, I just need to scroll back up just a tiny bit to get Christine's question. Okay, in the sevenfold rod exercise, does it matter which hand goes forward first to bring the rod to the front?
That is probably the 12-fold, Christine. I'll bet you meant because
yes,
on the 7-fold, we're not doing that. Yeah. Yes, it does matter. So we're moving the rod always clockwise around the body. So as you go from front to back, you've got both hands on the rod. The right hand takes it around. And then from back to front, the left hand takes it around. Okay? So,
Christine, does that answer your question? If not, just send us a message. Okay, Sarada said, in the 12-fold exercise, can you show how the rod is held on the thumbs?
Oh, what fun. And again, I do promise you'll find a lot of help in the PDF. Here we go again. Here. I hope you can see my whole screen. Yes.
Yes.
Here. And I'll come closer right there. See that?
Lovely. That works. Thank you. Okay, Myra says she has a question about the yes-no exercises. Yeah. I am left-handed and overall more dominant on my left side. Should I mirror the exercise?
No, no. There's only like one person in every 100,000 or 500,000 or million, I don't know, who has the inner physiology turned around. But the left side is the heart side of the body. The right side is the will side of the body. So even for those of us, I'm also left-handed, even for those of us who write with our left hand, we still have the heart on the left side of the body. And we're still using that side of the body to move into affirmation, and the will side of the body to work into negation.
Thank you. Now, Regine asked a question that I am also holding. So thank you for asking this question. In the expansion and contraction exercise today, is it possible to share the Goethe verse? The words are very powerful as I move in and out. Thank you.
Yes, I can put that in the PDF today.
Yes.
That I send out later on.
Yes. Okay, Linda said she doesn't see the 12-fold exercise in the PDF. Hold on, I'll find the page number. One moment, please.
It's right after the 7-fold.
Yes, on page 14, 15, and 16. Or it might be 15, 16, 17 with that little lovely blank page that invited itself in. So around 14 or 15, you will indeed find the 12-fold exercise described magnificently. Okay. Ayana says, I am imagining the rod moves through that as the rod moves through my field, that it is clearing, balancing, and integrating, one moment, my fields of etheric and astral with the added benefits of what the copper brings. Is that appropriate?
Oh, that's appropriate.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's appropriate. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Dear Cynthia.
And it's still okay if you get wood. It's just not as good, but it's fine.
It's a stepping stone toward the copper. Okay, that brings us to the end of our time and the end of our questions. I am going to save the chat, mind you.
Thank you.
You are ever so welcome.
And I want to give a little glimpse into the future and just let you know that as we move forward, I'm going to always be saying, do a few rod exercises before you do your vowels and consonants later on. So this series here is not quite luscious in the same way because we don't have the vowels and consonants, but I promise you they're coming in the next modules. So we're headed there. Glimpse to the future. Still there, Michelle?
I am here.
Super good. I wish you all knew Michelle as well as I did. Beautiful lady. All right, goodbye to South America, North America, Mexico in between. Goodbye to Europe. Goodbye. Go to bed if you're in China or Australia or Indonesia. And we'll see you next week. And look for your links later on today. Okay? Be well. Thank you. Bye for now. Thank you for watching, and remember, this project is only possible through your support. Give your donations at eurythmyonline.com.